And boop, we are live. Okay. Hello, everybody. Or, yeah, something's a bit wrong. Something's a bit off. Don't worry, everything's okay. To anyone watching, you're probably a bit confused. Where are the core four? Where are our lovable pirates? Where are all the rest of the players? Well, tonight, everybody that's watching, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Because tonight is the debut of a brand new series. A series that we are going to call the Misadventures. Now, this is a series that will pop up every now and again when there are stories in the Palm and the Fist or an Alato that we simply couldn't fit into our usual session scheduling. You can think of them as reintroduced cut content. You can think of them as additional sister stories. But whatever you think of it, let it be known that I hate loose ends. And everything will come full circle eventually. So, without further ado, this right here, these frames, as wonderful as they look, they just feel a bit wrong for tonight. So I think I need to switch it up a little bit. So give me 1 second. Kate, you are unmuted. Are you ready to begin?
Hello. I'm ready. Let's jump in.
Let's hop right in. Well, first I gotta ask you, are you excited? This is one-on-one D&D. I've never done one-on-one D&D before.
It's my first time too, yeah.
This is gonna be so much fun, and you know a little bit about what I have planned for tonight, and I just gotta ask, you excited? You ready to get going? Anything else? Anything you want to say to Kate and Darbs watching right now?
Buckle up. Strap in.
There wasn't supposed to be a correct answer, but that was the correct answer. Okay. Then, Kate, as always, why don't we take a deep and cleansing breath and then hop right in? That sound good to you?
Sounds perfect.
Okay. Then, please join me. And everything after the breath is canon. Now, Kate, we have begun. The session is live. And to set the tone, I would like to let you know that Delilah is dying. Picture her laying down, her head and her chest propped up, and the ground underneath her is wriggling, shifting, and breathing. It's a mass of hands and feet and hair and liquid. Delilah is soaking wet, partially from liquor and urine and spit and sweat, and partially from her own blood. I would like you to give all of us right now a description of Delilah. And I'm going to put up a picture as well, just for a visual reference, but I want you to tell us about her face and her clothing and what she looks like. But I want you to take into account that Delilah has a gaping hole in her stomach right now when describing it. Make sense?
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Well, Delilah is a young woman who was trained in the craft of archery and in various dancing. So she is a very lean and athletic person, but carries a lot of grace. And her face carries a gentleness to it, an innocence to it, but you can tell she has that it's not necessarily true for who she is as a person. She is not the most well-kept. Her clothes look like at one point they were probably beautiful and probably very well tailored, but that they aren't in their best condition. Her hair is a light red, um, an auburn ginger. Um, and from oh, there she goes.
There she goes.
And from her head sprout two ram like horns. And not on the photo, because the pit crew didn't have any options, but on her forehead is a third eye tattoo, and then was it on her arm that there was another tattoo?
Yes, on her rib cage and then on her arm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Two other tattoos that sprouted from injuries she sustained from mercenaries from Alator.
An excellent description. Now, after we understand who we're focusing in on, lying on this hairy, wet, breathing, shifting ground, bleeding profusely from a wound in their stomach, Delilah, everything is a bit of a blur to you. And for all intents and purposes, the world around you is dark. And the floor that you are on top of is dark. And your wound is something you don't understand. It's almost like you're waking up after being concussed. And I will give you all the information that you could ask for. But Delilah, what would you focus on first? Would it be the wound? Would it be the floor? Would it be the world around you? What would Delilah's mind focus on immediately?
I think she notices the wound, but I think for her waking up and being so startled, survival instincts kick in, and I think she's aware of her environment first and foremost to figure out where is she, who is she around, what's going on.
Okay. So I hear wound and environment. Which one do you want to touch on first?
Environment. I'm gonna say the wound. She's like, wound. I'm in pain, but I need to figure out if I'm safe first.
Okay.
Wound can come later.
Not a problem. So ignoring the floor. So again, you know that you're bleeding. You can feel blood kind of getting choked up in your throat into the back of your tongue, and you realize like this is very serious. But you look around to the world around you, and the darkness begins to fade. It begins to fade because your eyes begin to pick up torchlight from massive pillars all around you. You begin to pick up the torchlight of like rescue parties being sent out, like people grabbing wounded people and walking off with them. And you remember where you are. You're in the Arbor. You're in Ubhav. You're underneath Yasa's shard. And you're in the crowd of the Battle of the Bards right now.
Oh.
You're able to look up from your position, and you would know that you're looking north. And you see a mass of shattered wood and rubble where the stage of the Battle of the Bards used to be. The tons of wood and stone, it falls onto itself as if the structure has been blasted apart by some kind of explosion, maybe some kind of shockwave. And upon kind of seeing that rubble, give me a history check with advantage and beat a 12.
Ooh. History. That's 17.
17? Delilah, I think in your mind, with what I know, with Kate, what I know about how Delilah's mind works, the shockwave, yeah, it's coming back to you. It only happened maybe a minute ago. Everyone was on stage. That crew, the one that helped you in the aquestruct you shot at Big Romeo, and they won the Battle of the Bards. And then the little one, the shiny one, you know their name. Cowrie. That's their name. They played the lute, and now you're laying here, dying. So upon taking that into account, anything going through Delilah's mind?
So, Cowrie played a lute and then there was an explosion?
Yes, you remember from the lute, there was an explosion of shockwaves that knocked hundreds, if not thousands, of people back by 50, 100 feet.
Okay.
And somehow, in some way, in that shock, you clocked your head, got knocked out, and are now laying in this confusing mess, dying of an unknown wound. Okay?
Yeah.
So with that environment, anything going through Delilah's head?
I think Delilah, she's laying there and putting together that it came from someone she knew and that she was kind of just collateral. I think her heart rates a little bit and she feels deeply alone because she realizes that they kind of just like threw out this big bomb and left her alone to suffer. And I think before she feels any other emotion, I think before she takes it any other place, I think she just feels so hurt that she tears up and is so sad to have been hurt by someone that she wasn't expecting to be hurt by, which isn't the first time.
Tears begin to well up in your eyes as you think of that. And as you blink and you wince and the pain of your wound, we have two more things to get through. Would you like to focus on the floor that you're on, or would you like to focus on the wound itself?
Can I focus on the wound?
You absolutely can. How would Delilah look? Would she touch? What kind of senses is she using to figure this out?
Probably sight and then feeling from her hand. So she's probably in shock that her stomach can't even like feel her like stomach. So I think she tries to lift up her head to look at her stomach. And maybe use her hand to see how big it is.
There's this sense that affects people in the real world where it's like the sixth sense of knowing the position of your body. And one of the things that is the scariest thing, one of the scariest things a person can experience is when they feel a part of their body that is familiar and it's foreign and something is wrong. And Delilah, as you crane your head up and you can feel blood begin to pool in your mouth and begin to leak out and mix with the tears, your vision gets to it first, and then your hand... I'll say your hand gets to it first, and then your vision's able to catch up, and you feel towards the wound in your stomach, and immediately you feel a protrusion coming on, like, coming out above your belly button. You're able to feel your leather armor falling apart into strips. Your Alata silk, as weathered as it is sliced, and your vision is slowly beginning to tunnel into itself. But there's a bit of light being reflected into your eyes even as your vision begins to dim, because it's moonlight and torchlight bouncing off of steel, or at least a part of the steel that isn't covered in your own blood. You are able to look down and see the curved edge of a sword poking directly out of your stomach. You have been run completely through from behind and have been impaled on a scabbard, essentially. And I would like you to make an investigation check with advantage.
Thank you for giving me advantage. The first one was a 1.
Of course. I know we are cut from the same cloth.
Investigation, you say? That's a 10.
That's a 10. With a 10, as you shift ever so slightly, you feel white hot pain shoot directly through your body and also into your back as well. And almost as if through instinct itself, you're able to realize that the blade of this saber is sticking out through you, and the back of it, the hilt of it, is still attached. And you
Oh.
would get the sense, I would say with that 12, just kind of putting the context clues together, you were blasted off into the crowd of the Battle of the Bards, and someone with their sword drawn, not even trying to hurt you, you were just blown onto their blade with such force that it ran you completely through.
Delilah's mad. She's like, oh, shit. I think. Okay. She, she's crying, and the cries kind of turn into just like instead of sobs, being like kind of like yelling, like as she's heaving and this blood in her mouth. I think she's just like these intense labored breaths as how she was just kind of ragdolled and thrown. And I think she's just so angry by the lack of control of it all. Like, she was just standing there, she did nothing, and she got hurt and is dying for nothing.
And speaking about how it is for nothing and you did nothing to deserve this, the last thing you realize is that stinking, writhing form underneath you. You realize that right now, as you feel something knock into the back of the sword and it turns in your body and you jolt in pain, you realize that right now the floor that you are laying on is hundreds, if not thousands, of unwashed pirates that were blown back, and you were lucky enough to land on top of them.
Delilah is um I think she starts just kind of muttering and repeating, I'm sorry, to the people below her, because she's just kind of a body in a pile of bodies. Like, I think to her, there's a sense of like, she isn't just herself. She's this like collection right now of injured pieces of people. And I think she's sorry for the person like underneath her and around her, and the person who is probably dead far below her for not being lucky enough to land on top. Even if she's dying herself, I think she's just, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
When I think apologizing again, crying, and like in this is bad. I'm like, you would understand this. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is horrendously bad. And going off of the idea of, I'm sorry, I didn't do anything, all of these people suffering, all of this, I want to ask you, Kate, in Delilah's mind, is this fair? And whatever your answer is, I would like you to explain how Delilah would rationalize it. Make sense?
Yeah. I think kind of like what I said before, Delilah's a kind of disassociating a bit. She's not necessarily being herself at this moment, but out of her body and thinking the greater picture of all of these bodies together in this pile of pain and blood and suffering. And she's looking out, I think, at like where it all came from. And it's just like it really is just like a bomb went off, and the bomb came from, it just feels so reckless. And I think Delilah is so caught up on the disregard for everyone else's lives and suffering, and people just kind of walking away. getting to walk away.
Your mind hangs on the thought of people just walking away. All of this destruction, all of this pain that is caused, and they left you here and they're walking away. And as you think about that, and as your mind races through all of these justifications for those emotions, you begin to hear and you can feel your heart begin to slow and fade. And your eyelids, and I'm going to say no constitution check at all, your eyelids become very heavy, and before you know it, you black out and pass out where you're laying. Okay?
Okay.
How are we doing so far? You okay?
I'm doing great.
Okay. Excellent. Delilah, your world becomes darkness, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And slowly emerging out of the darkness. First and foremost, the floor fades, the arbor fades, the pirates fade, and in a way, you fade as well. And I'll say that in this black void, Delilah, you stand without floor beneath you. It's almost like you're floating in an inky void of space. Make sense?
Yeah.
And out of this darkness, you see the same figure you saw in your dream from Toabus. It's a woman. She's 12 feet tall. She's dressed in a toga. She's a scale in one hand and a sword in the other. And she's blinded by a strip of cloth. And I will also say that she stands in the same way that you remember. Her arms seem suspended, as if by strings, and her head hangs just a bit too low as she turns to look at you, her head kind of swaying for a moment as she stops. And she speaks to you and says, "Delilah, this cannot be your time. Think of all the justice you have yet to serve."
Can Delilah move?
If you would like to move, you may, yes.
Sorry, I'm looking at the chat.
As am I, yes.
I think if she can move, I think upon seeing this figure, I think seeing the sword and scales in this person's hand and what they represent, just justice and strength, and having the strength to fight for and seek out justice and fairness. I think Delilah, in this moment of like weakness and feeling so broken and just heartbroken, falls to her knees in front of this person and just like, I need you, please, help me.
As you fall to your knees and call out to this figure, would Delilah want to look deeper into this figure and make a check to kind of like figure out what's going on? Or would it just be this is what it is, and I'm just looking to have whatever help I can right now?
I think... Listen, they call it blind justice for a reason. She's just like, I trust you. She's not looking into it. Okay, I was gonna...
No, you're fine. You're good. Hey, you're good. You're fine. You're totally cool. You don't gotta worry about anything.
In for a penny, in for a pound.
This figure kind of looks down to you, sword in one hand, scale in the other, and looks and goes, "You are so trusting of me. What do you require?"
Can I make an insight check on how I've interacted with this person in the past? And if this is similar or if this is different to how they've spoken to me before?
If you want to give me an insight check, you definitely can, but I'm going to give to you for free right now that this is how this person has spoken to you before. But you realize in this moment, this is the most clearly you've ever seen this figure.
Okay.
It was much more like the odd way in which she stands, in which she talks, kind of, you never really had the ability to recognize it before now, because it was always kind of like blurred and in passing. Make sense?
Okay. Hold on. Are there strings on them, or does it just look like they're being pulled by strings, but they're invisible?
Oh, you can give me a perception check very quickly, and you can give it to me with advantage.
Yay! The dice don't want me to know things. Ooh, actually, that's an 11. That's not that bad.
That's an 11.
It could have been a 6.
And then with that 11, also give me an insight check with advantage. The same one that that you were gonna do before.
12.
12? As you look toward, so you have that thought of, are there strings? What is happening here? And I will say that you're taken back to your, childhood in a way, your upbringing in Alateur. And you used to remember, every harvest festival, every harvest festival, there would be, traveling performers that would come around with, marionettes, and they'd tell stories about princes and princesses and noble knights and dragons and all of that. And yeah, you get the sense where you're it looks like she's being controlled with strings, but you can't really see any. But with a 12 insight, you are able to remember back to your childhood that oftentimes accompanying the marionette dolls, the performers would put on voices. And hearing this woman speak to you, it sounds like someone doing a voice.
And have they always sounded like that?
You're putting it together now that it's always been like this. You just didn't realize it until now. A lot of contemplative thought.
Yeah. What's your name?
You understand my name, Delilah. I am Justice.
But what's your name?
The woman, 12 feet tall, goes limp. She lands on her knees and she slumps to the floor. And just as suddenly, a hand large enough to cover this massive figure's entire body reaches out and with scratching claws drags this figure back into the darkness. And for a moment there is nothing. A toy reclaimed.
I'm so glad we can finally be honest with each other, Dee.
Emerging out of the darkness This figure is towering. It's the largest giant you've ever seen. You're unable to see any colors or facial features, as this giant is seemingly covered by night black shadow. But even without any features or colors or shades, you see ripples begin to form across his torso and arms. Beginning to litter his body, you see burns and cuts and stabs and arrows and needles and stitches, and they all pulse shortly before disappearing like a sickly white flame in need of fuel. And you look to his head, and you see a grin made of thin white teeth with large gaps in between each one. And my timer is going off and ruining the ambiance. And his eyes are two large white X's. As this figure, towering far above the marionette puppet, moves towards you. Thank you, Kate, for the laundry alarm.
Now, Dee, am I right in assuming that you want to know my name?
What seems only fair.
I got so many I can barely keep count. He who runs the game that only fools play. He who leaves the whole world blind. He who digs two graves. He who serves dishes only cold. Any of those will do. But I think you might already know me. Something shorter, sweeter.
Sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Oh, no problem. It's like, are you gonna talk or am I gonna talk? No problem.
No, I'm sorry. The music got a little loud.
Oh, you're totally cool. No problem at all.
No, okay. Go ahead.
Oh, no problem. So what, it's all right. It's okay. You're dead. So it's kind of like, I understand. You're a little bit shaken up. What's my name, baby?
Don't call me that.
I apologize. I overstepped there. It just, it's the name of the game. But D.
How many fucking cooks in the kitchen? Damn, chef.
There we go.
And emerging out of the darkness towards you, still seeing these white, pulsating marks and burns and cuts and all these injuries, and this face moving towards you, as the shadow dissipates with jet black fabric, you're able to see the crude stitching of a used and abused voodoo doll.
You got yourself in a right pickle, haven't you?
I guess. So. Has it just been you this whole time? Since the beginning?
Well, what am I? You wanted justice. I'm justice.
In what way?
People get what's coming to them. The world is made right. You wanted to see what you wanted to see. Welcome to Flavor Town.
Guy Fieri here.
He's gonna do the hunch and eat you.
Nom. I wanted to make things right with the people who lied to me. And then you played me for If you want justice and to make things right, why would you lie to me? I have no reason to believe you.
D. Let's not misremember history here. You called into the void, and I'm the one that heard you. You, in that moment, did not go looking for some lawfully good higgledy-piggledy violence, baby. No, you wanted raw emotion, raw hate, and you got the job done.
That it's done, then we're done.
No. Even with your dying thoughts, you can't stop thinking about those that deserve it. You're dying right now, covered in piss and shit. What, 'cause one bard played a chord too loudly? How is that fair?
You know it's more than that. It's more than just me. Not... They blew up an entire stadium of people who came there to watch them.
Exactly.
And I'm just supposed to fucking roll over with a sword in me?
No.
In my back.
Yes, get angry. They deserve it. What's coming to them? Don't they?
They didn't mean to, though.
D.
And if people get what they deserve, then I should die too. And it's good that I'm dying up there.
That was an accident. And you did.
And so was that. So what Cowrie did was an accident too. Doesn't make it fucking right. But it doesn't mean that they should go without any consequence. But it doesn't mean I should too.
Well, we work with what we got, D. And, in all honesty, if you want to fade into the blackness and see what's on the other side waiting for you, well, there's the door. But if you're looking to exact some of that justice, accident or no, well, I could help bring you back to the land of the living.
So Delilah's thinking about, I think, what she said too about getting the justice she deserves, and I think that's the first time she's really said that out loud about applying the idea of getting what you deserve to herself. And so I think she's in this moment of what does she deserve and should she die, but simultaneously hard to choose death when you weren't prepared for it. And I think another part of her is considering perhaps having this devil on her shoulder, basically, is perhaps the consequence of her actions and the justice she kind of deserves to be forced to live with this nagging voice in her head of someone who will always remind her of all the bad she's done, because she doesn't like... She's tempted to give into the rage, but I think she's just not sure if she's willing. I think she's on the edge, and she's not quite tipped over yet.
Give me a quick religion check. having like with that mentality. I'll say it. You gotta. There we go. Let's go.
Big ol' nat 1.
Well, can't really give you that much because in that one, let's keep it straight here, Delilah. I love the teetering mindset of being right on the cusp and like pulling yourself back. Let's also keep it straight, and I think in Delilah's own mind, it's like, you know, having that incredible amount of self-reflection. What other option is there right now?
Yeah, it's either die or let this guy... She's so mad. She's so mad she got played. She's like, I just wanted a cool patron.
Oh, well, I'm not cool. I can hear your thoughts.
I got fucking Austin Powers, Guy Fieri.
I'm not Austin Powers. I don't know who that is. But
You call me baby.
if he's ever fucked over, then I'm gonna know his
Do
name.
you have
right quick.
mojo?
Oh, I got all the mojo in
No!
the world.
I'm haunted by Austin Powers.
And
Evil Austin Powers.
Austin Powers from Horcrux. Yeah, he's big into the silent movie genre. Anyway.
Now, we can sit here and chat if you want, or we can get this ball rolling.
If I allow you to bring me back, what are your terms?
D. See, I'm just such a nice guy. I got nothing else for you. Because you, and the way you're living, sun up to sundown and all the dreams in between. You've been serving me every day since you started running. All I ask is you keep doing everything the same.
Delilah's like, well, free life, I guess. Oh. And you're not gonna, like, puppet me?
No. Well, no.
Inside?
Absolutely, yes.
I'm rolling so dirty.
That's okay. Everyone rolled like dog water yesterday too.
That's an 8.
That's an 8. I'll say give this to me with advantage because, like, seeing the embodiment, like the god of revenge right in front of you. What'd you get?
11.
You got an 11?
Yeah, I'll get other dice.
I'll say an 11 is enough to kind of put this together. The marionette, justice, puppeted by revenge. And you ask the question, are you going to puppet me as well?
I just put together the revenge thing.
You right now? Okay. It's been in chat like 9 times. I thought you saw it.
Delilah's not smart.
That's okay. That's okay. She's very dehydrated and she's dead.
She went to art school.
There you go. Now, I'll say you're able to put this together. You asked the question, are you going to puppet me? And you get the sense that the phrasing of the question was wrong. Where you asked, essentially, are you going to puppet me for the first time? When the question should have been, are you going to keep puppeting me? Or have you puppeted me before?
Man.
And give me an insight check with advantage on yourself.
Oh, that's so much better. That's a dirty 20.
That's a dirty 20. And
she doesn't know other people, but she knows herself.
And I think
she's a little narcissist.
I think it's so accurate, like looking internally, and you realize that every time that you have been consumed with rage, or every time that you have kept yourself motivated by thinking about how people wronged you, and by thinking about how people hurt you and betrayed you, and how there's been so much action taken through the idea of this isn't fair, I deserve better, I'm going to get back at the people who deserve it. You realize in that moment that this, at least from the past, this is the first time, this is very intense right now, and I'll tell you right now, this kind of interaction, talking directly with the god, very strange. But in the past, this god's power is much more passive, where every time you've acted on those negative emotions or stewed in them, you were being puppeted by this force, the force of revenge. Make sense?
Yeah. I think at that moment, Delilah's, it's like looking in a mirror. Like, I think it's very clear at that moment, and she's like looking at Chef and seeing herself in these moments of rage and intense feelings. And I think it does dawn on her with a lot of clarity that Chef might have been there, like, at her back, pushing her forward, but it's more kind of like he just drew on what was already there, I think. So I think there's, like, the realization of she's more similar to him and more already tied to him. And she feels seen, but she also doesn't like it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think you put it best looking into that mirror.
Yeah. Well, put it away you might like. We're two peas in a pod, I guess.
You took the words right out of my mouth, D.
Well, there's no reason not to go back then, I guess. But I'm not doing it just for you. I don't think your justice is right. But I don't think that I'm any different than you. And I have no reason to not like you.
You can spin it any way you want. The scarf's gonna look the same.
It's a bleak outlook.
Not for me.
So, are we doing this or what?
We certainly are. Now, this is strange. I haven't been able to have a conversation with someone in a long, long time. And I'm gonna have to think about why that is. But I do know, in cases like yours, I'm gonna have to give you the same treatment that I gave your friend Oliver and pull you back. It's not gonna be pretty. You ready?
I do also think Delilah has pauses. And I think when he said he hasn't had the chance to talk to someone for a while, I think Delilah looks at him and actually looks at him and takes in the fact that he is a voodoo doll and had been just used by others to hurt others. And I think she does soften a little bit towards him. And I think she's more open and willing to work with him after realizing that, because I think she thinks there's more to him and where his pain and history comes from.
Okay.
And so I think when he asked her that, she just has that going on in her head. Also, I have no fucking idea who Oliver is. But when he asks her if she's ready, I think she would offer her hand and say, "I'm ready."
All right, then. I'll see you on the other side.
And as you extend your hand outward, the massive hand of this voodoo doll comes down and rests his knuckles facing down and gently raises his hand until just the tip of his middle finger, larger than your entire body, strikes into your palm, and you are taken into the deepest recesses of your mind. Okay?
Okay.
We are now going to witness a revivify spell from the opposite end, from the celestial side, from the infernal side. Rather than having a caster do it and summon this power, it is the power doing it directly to you, okay?
Okay.
Now this means the revivify is going to be unique to Chef's vibe. Best way to put it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a little bit of role play to make sure it works correctly. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do a little bit of role play, and I want to let this be known, and I think you know where this is going, that you're going to be reliving a memory. And now you can role play. I am unsure what you're going to say, but you know that the memory and the beats of it are not going to change. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. And let's get right into it. Right after take a very short break. We're going to take a very quick break, go to the bathroom, get a snack, and have a great time when we come back. Kate, how you feeling so far? You having a good time?
I'm learning so much.
Yes, there's a lot going on right now. Yeah,
See,
Gab, look,
you're
it's
doing
just what I
amazing.
do. You gotta take a break at the pinnacle, at the climax. Chef's hat and a curly mustache, exactly. Oh, but yes, we're gonna take a very quick break. We're gonna come back to it in the next probably 5 minutes. I hope everyone's having a good time, and let's see where exactly this takes Delilah. Sound good? Sound good, Kate?
Sounds perfect.
Perfect. Then we'll be right back. Give us a second,
All right.
everybody. Peace out. And we are back. All right. We're hopping back into it. Kate, you ready to rock? You ready to see
ready to
Chef's
roll.
Revivify?
Chef's Revivify.
Yep.
That's his best meal.
It's the best hangover cure in the world. Okay.
It's just eggs.
We go into the deepest recesses of your mind, and we essentially step back in time. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me change the music real quick. Delilah, you are back in the ancient glade, the evergreen forest surrounding the Dubois family home of Traval-deux. We're back in Alateur, baby. You can hear twigs snap and acorns drop as small critters scurry around above you. And these rabbits and squirrels, they're small prizes. They're nothing to admire, nothing worthy of trophies or praise or pride. You are on the tail of something much larger, an 18-point buck, a good meal, and a good trophy. and you can't lose him now. Give me a quick survival check with advantage.
Mm. 16.
16?
Yeah.
You are in the forest, crouched down, and you are moving through almost silently, and you're able to kneel down, and you're able to see two things: tracks and fresh droppings. This buck is moving north, but slowly. You've been on him for a couple hours now, and he's getting tired. You're maybe 15, 20 minutes behind him at most. You're able to hear a shoulder grab onto your back and crouch up behind, right next to you, and their foot immediately smushes the droppings into nothing. As with a nat 1, you're able to see Kira Bree, your hunting buddy for this evening, kneel next to you and go, "We're right on him, are we?"
You're right on something. And
I have to wear these tomorrow. That sucks.
they're your hunting boots. They're gonna get dirty.
Yeah, and
Let's just stay focused.
okay.
We're close.
Yeah, not a problem. You're both okay. You both move deeper into the forest, then north after the buck, correct?
Yes.
You're both, and like Kira having shit all over her boots now. You both have this understanding of like you're both muddy and you're sweaty, and like your noble archer garb isn't really suited to this kind of intense tracking. This is more of a spur of the moment decision that you and her made to go on this hunt. And you guys also didn't really think this through that much because it's going to be incredibly difficult to clean, not only because it's very delicate like alateur silks and things like that, but as Kira just mentioned, it's going to be the garb you have to wear to your archery tournament the following morning, where you will face off against each other for best sharpshooter in all the realm.
I think that little detail kind of pays to the background that we're from, where it's expensive, but it's nick-cleaned or remade. We'll buy something else. We can replace it.
Kira looks back and goes, "We have people that handle this, and that's okay. And we're not, again, and you know, it's their job. We pay them, and we can get it as dirty as we want, and that's fine."
I mean, yeah. But you probably shouldn't step in shit.
Okay, yeah, I didn't try to step in the shit, all right? You guys are like, you know, bows drawn, like walking through, talking about this. As you're able to hear, you're able to hear the buck cry out north by maybe only half a mile. His cries echoing off the trees.
We're close. Just be careful where you step. Not just for shit, but, you know, twigs, branches.
Exactly. Okay. Then how about this? I'll go high then, and you stay on the ground. If I see him, I'll call him out to you. And then do you want to rock, paper, scissors for it? Who wants to pop him? You want to pop him? Should I?
Whoever has the better shot, I guess, you know?
Oh, I'm going to do a quick maturity check for Kira. With a nat 20, she goes, "We both know who's going to win tomorrow."
Don't say that.
I'm not selling myself short. You're just good at what you do.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly. There you go. That's the smile. You take the shot. I'll call him out to you, okay?
Okay, all right.
I'll stay close by.
Okay.
Kira immediately then takes to scaling up one of the evergreen trees of the ancient glade and begins like hopping from branch to branch, basically being right above you at all times as you continue tracking this buck through the forest. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So rushing through the forest, you finally come to a short, rocky cliff face that's staring down at like a 45-degree angle towards a small forested pond. And you know, it's fairy tale, it's storybook, lily pads and fireflies, birds and falling leaves, and standing right next to the shore of the pond, your quarry. The 18-point buck, shimmering coat, points strong enough that he will have his pick of his mates when mating time comes. His neck is extended and his mouth is slowly and cautiously taking in water, one black eye facing towards where you would be, scanning, knowing that something is tracking him, but this buck needed to rest. And you hear the slightest creak of a branch above you, as you know that as you come to this cliffside, Kira is directly above you and gives you a slight whistle notifying you in case you have not seen it yet.
Delilah moves very slowly and carefully to close the distance as much as she can, without it being risking the butt being stared. And I think she pulls out her arrow and lines up a shot.
Okay. You line up the shot. As you edge closer to the slope of this rocky cliff face, it's maybe a 25, 30-foot slide down of different like jagged rocks and sections of grass and roots. Some kind of like landslide happened here recently. And as you're able to get perched up next to the edge, as close as you can without, causing some kind of small rocky avalanche to upset this creature, you say you take out your bow. Do you take the shot?
Yeah, she takes the shot. I think there's a moment, I think, of like just giddy excitement. And I don't think she hunts like this very often, so I think she's also very excited of like, what a snag. And she lines it up and takes the shot.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Oh damn. 15.
With a 15, you're able to silently knock an arrow into your bow, and you're able to draw the string back. And as you focus in on this 18-point buck, you're able to hear, and you feel the grip in between your fingers, like at the actual wood of your bow, begin to splinter and crack. And in a moment, everything goes horribly wrong as your bow, as it snaps in half at the center of the grip, it escapes your hand. Your other hand, under the weight, releases the string, the arrow flying out off of the bow in an unknown direction. And after a split second of this, with all of this noise and this snapping, the buck goes and bounds off into the forest, escaping.
I'm trying to decide if Delilah looks at the arrow or the buck first. I think she takes a few steps forward to like maybe follow the buck, but I think that's too fast. So I think she lets the arrow in her hand and is really confused. That has never happened before.
So the arrow flew off in an unknown direction. It just went.
Oh, okay.
So the arrow.
Oh,
so it
the
broke,
whole arrow?
Well, not the bow, the arrow.
Yeah, the whole arrow just.
Yeah, so the arrow that you had knocked, when the bow broke, the string, it just got loosed in a random direction.
Okay.
Because
I thought the arrow broke. I thought the arrow broke.
No. The bow just snapped and immediately.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I explained that poorly.
No. But did I see where the arrow went?
Give me a quick investigation check.
It's a 7.
7. Beating a 5. You kind of look around and you start looking on the ground and you don't see it on the ground next to you. You look to the tree that was next to you. You don't see it on the tree. You don't see it like piercing into the bark. But you do look up, and silhouetted under the stars and the light night that you guys are in, you are able to see Kira begin wobbling back and forth.
And she's still in the tree?
Yes.
Oh my god. Delilah just yells, her name. Does Kira fall from the tree?
You watch as you yell out Kira. Kira falls out of the tree. She plummets 10 feet down, directly onto the rocky cliff face, slamming into the incline. Gravel and dirt spray out all around her as she rolls down the hill before crashing into the shallow pond in an explosion of water.
Delilah's running. She's sprinting.
As you slide down the cliff face, it just tears at the silk and at the armor. As you rush into the pond, immediately you sink down right up to the knees, and you rush over to her and you lift her out of the water. And give me a quick medicine check with advantage.
That's a 19.
A 19. As you pull her up out of the water, you're able to hear her go, I don't know what happened. And you're able to look under her left arm. The arrow pierced deep into her side, and with a 19 is maybe in her heart, definitely cut an artery. As the still almost green-blue water of this pond, now like rippling and waving out all around you, begins to become very red and cloudy as she's bleeding exceptionally heavily from this wound, as she's grabbing on close to you and trying to remain conscious.
Delilah is in a full panic. She doesn't want to tell her that it's okay, because she knows it's not okay, but she wants to comfort her, and she doesn't know. She knows enough to know that there's nothing she can do, and she doesn't know what happened either. I think maybe she tells her, like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. And I think she's just kind of holding her in the water and trying to just keep her above so she can breathe. And she's trying not to press the arrow in further. And she just doesn't know what happened either. And she doesn't know what to do. She's just like frozen, trying to help her friend, and she doesn't know what to do.
Not knowing what to do and just repeating, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. Kira looks up at you and goes, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay.
You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. I'm gonna get help, okay? I'm gonna get help. It's okay.
And
you're gonna be okay.
And as you keep saying that, as you have this back and forth, you're able to watch as Kira's life leaves her eyes, and Kira, in only maybe 30, 45 seconds, dies in your arms.
Delilah keeps repeating, you're gonna be okay. I'm gonna get help. You're gonna be okay. I'm gonna get help, okay? You're gonna be okay. And Delilah pulls Kira from the water up to the shore, so she can set her down, so she's not in the water anymore. And she tries to think of what she can do. And she's been an archer for a long time. She's taught archery for a long time. And she knows some first aid, but not a lot. And she is so scared and panicked. And I think she still is, her brain has not processed what has happened yet. And so I think her mind is so focused on getting help because that's the last thing she told Kiara she would do. So I think she pulls Kiara to the shore and lays her down, and runs, as fast as she can back to where she came from, to find a friend that she knows who might know something that could help Kira.
We quickly cut over to the town surrounding the castle of Trevardu, and immediately we cut, like, you rush off into the forest, and soaking wet, still sweaty, still muddy, but your lower half your lower half and your arms sopping wet, and the silk stained a light red from the blood that mixed with the water, and we hard cut into the home of your friend Daniel, the person that you ran to this evening, and someone who you know you can depend on, as he looks to you and says,
Delilah, slow down.
As you're in the middle of his house, fully furnished and everything, as he attempts to give you a blanket, something to dry you off with, and goes,
I need you to tell me what's happened so I can help you, okay?
We were just... Kira just went in a tree, and we were trying to get this buck, and my bow broke. And I shot Kiera. I didn't. And I don't know what to do. There has to be something we can. I didn't mean to do it.
Delilah, you did not mean to do it. I think this can be fixed, okay? There was a traveling doctor that came through here several weeks ago. There were herbs and practices. I was able to buy some texts and some tomes from him. It will take maybe 30 minutes to get the procedure ready. I think we can still fix this. Is her body still in the same place?
I left her by the river. I didn't know what else to do.
That is okay. That is okay. The practice only works as long as the affected person remains in the same spot where the violence occurred, so there should not be that much issue. If you are able to go back and prepare her body, I can get all the necessary ingredients, and I think we can fix this. Okay?
Okay.
He comes up to you and he puts his hands on your shoulders, and says to you very quickly,
Delilah, everything is going to be okay. I just need you to trust me, okay?
Okay.
What are you going to do?
I'm gonna go back to Kiera, and we're gonna fix this.
You're going to fix this. Yes. Go. You know the way. I shall be there in 45 minutes, an hour at tops, okay?
Okay. Before she leaves, I think she gives him a hug, and she just runs out the door.
A big deep hug, and you sprint out of the door back into the forest, as you just completely haul it. There's nothing stopping you, and you return to the pond, and you see the shore. You see Kira laying there exactly in the same spot that you left her in. Please give me a medicine check or a religion check to see how well you can prepare Kira's body.
You got 2 7s.
You got 2 7s, which adds to?
That would be a 9 for medicine.
It'd be 9 for medicine. You don't have that much instruction, so what you do is you essentially just position the arms and the legs as out as possible, basically just laying her flat. And she is, being honest, she is lifeless, she is cold, but her eyes have since been closed. With a 7, you would know to just kind of shut that window to her soul. Make sense?
Yeah.
With all of that, you begin waiting for Daniel to arrive. You wait 30 minutes, an hour.
I think while Delilah's there, also, I think she's, like, still in, like, denial that Kiara's dead, and I think she feels Kiara's hands are cold, and I think Delilah's still trying to, like, she's trying to warm them up, and she's, like, brushing or, like, comforting and brushing her, like, Kiara's hair, and just trying to comfort her. So that's the only thing she can think to do while waiting. So I think in her mind, Kiara isn't dead because she believes that there's some way she can still be saved. And so I think she's thinking of her just as sleeping, and that she just needs to care for her before she comes back.
And I feel like the comforting of Kira in that moment, the time kind of begins passing a little bit faster, and then it's an hour and a half and 2 hours. And then after about 2.5 hours, you hear yelling off in the trees and begin to see like shadows in the forest dancing with torchlight. And you're able to hear, "It's just through here! Watch out! They said there'll be a cliff leading to the pond!" And you're able to hear voices that are definitely not Daniel's.
I think Delilah's thinking maybe he got lost, and this is maybe like...
Quick pause. Hold on. We got disconnected from OBS again for some reason. I think it's an issue with Twitch. I think it really might be. Hold on one sec.
No.
I know. Don't worry, we're gonna break this into 2 parts. You don't gotta worry about it.
Okay.
Tech issues. Be right back. Nope. I think we're back. I'm pretty sure we're back.
Oh?
Wait, are we back?
I think we are.
I think we're back. Darby, can you confirm that we're back? So I can turn off the yakety sax? Can you, are you on the Twitch, Kate? Are you able
Yeah, it looks like we're back.
We're back. Excellent.
We're back.
Perfect. Okay.
We back, baby.
Okay.
Oh, they looked inside again.
Everything's terrible. And you realize there are people approaching you that definitely are not Daniel. Give me a quick perception check.
Yay.
You getting that one?
I'm in panic. Wait,
hold on.
wait, no, it looks like we're still good.
Wait, are we back or no? Or nah? I think we're fine. I
No,
think
it looks like the stream is good.
we're good. I'm putting all my faith in you right now, Kate, but I am gonna just quickly pull it up on my end just to make sure.
Yeah, no, it looks like we're still going.
Yep, I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we're good.
We should be. Yep, we're still going. We're good. Wow, that is trippy
Okay.
hearing myself talk. But yes.
Okay.
Okay. So everything sucks. We're back. I'll cut out most of this.
And
don't
I
worry.
don't know anything.
Oh no, you do not know who these people are, and you got a nat 1.
Honestly,
What's
so
up? Yeah, what's up?
with the nat 1, let me know if this works. I was thinking Delilah might assume that this is like a search party because we've gone missing. They're friendly.
Okay.
We got lost in the woods.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say Delilah maybe moves a little bit closer. It's still really dark, and she doesn't want to go too far.
Bless you.
Thank you. And she doesn't want to go too far from Kiara's sleeping body. And so she crouches and moves a little bit closer to the sound, and is gonna perceive again.
Okay. You move closer, away from the body, towards these figures approaching.
Yeah. Okay, that's a... Do I add anything to perception? Oh my goodness. That's a 18.
An 18.
Yes.
As you move closer again, they're coming at the top of the cliff face. You're right here at the pond at the bottom. And as you look out, as you move closer to them, they're moving closer to you. And with this like 15-foot, like 45-degree angle slide between you guys, you're able to look up and see that there are 4 distinct figures here. None of them are Daniel. And they are all wearing the traditional brown and gray and green cloth of the Dubois house. And you're able to see they have plate armor on, they have helmets on, they have spears and halberds and swords and torches, and they look directly down at you, and you realize right now this is the authorities basically. And there's a moment of silence, like a standoff, basically not really knowing who's going to act first.
Can I make an insight on if they look pleased to see me or not?
Give me an insight check.
11.
An 11. Before anything is said, as you just kind of look at each and every one of them, you see the front one, his hand goes towards the hilt of his sword to his side.
Delilah begins, she takes a step back and she begins to plead and say, there was an accident. And I think, like, as she's trying to explain that someone is hurt, do they say anything else to her?
As you start kind of like backing up, the lead man begins to slide down the incline, like the incline towards you, and looks to you and goes, "There was an accident. I understand. Simply come peacefully. We can talk about it in travel do." And he begins to pull out a pair of manacles while approaching you.
So, Delilah's very confused. And she doesn't know how they know that this happened. And she doesn't know why they think she did something or why she's in trouble. And I think she runs.
You run.
Yeah!
As you immediately, you just think about that, and immediately it's like a moment of silence, and then boom, 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 and you just haul it into the forest.
I know this one's better!
As fast as you can, especially because, and give me a quick survival check or acrobatics check with advantage. Either one with advantage.
Not you.
What was it?
16.
16? These guys are in full plate armor. They're knights. And so you watch as they try to slide down the hill after you. You immediately are able to jump over a log and slide under a branch and hook around a tree. And you're basically leading these guys in like a figure 8 circle, trying to get away as fast as you possibly can, as you're able to hear them say, "Stop! In the name of Dubois! The murderer! Stop at once!" And they for sure think that you did this.
Her heart just sinks. And it also breaks her heart to run away, to leave her friend. So I think she's like, she's so, she doesn't understand at all what's happening. It's like so much has just happened at once. And I think she's just running and running, as fast as she can, to get as far away as possible, So maybe somewhere else it'll make sense. And she can't get caught because they think she did it. And I think she's going to, once she gets closer to town, she's gonna definitely keep an ear out for anything else going on.
Okay, understood. Give me a quick, either a stealth check or a survival check with advantage.
I got 2 9s.
You got 2 9s? What is that?
That's a
either
14.
stealth or survival, whatever's better.
14 for both.
14? With
God.
a 14, as you get closer and closer to town, doesn't seem like any
Not Kate being like, what did I miss?
Yeah, okay, yeah. No elevated guard presence patrolling the streets. Nothing too crazy right now, at least as you come like to near like the outskirts of the town surrounding the walls of the castle of Traveldu. But one thing you're able to notice with what was your roll again?
14.
A 14 with a nat 1 for a stealth check. You are able to watch as one of the larger oaks one of the larger pine trees of the ancient glade. You're able to watch, like, as you're kind of like hiding, like scoping out, like trying to make sure everything's clear. You're able to watch as a door essentially like is popped out and moved to the side as you watch as 3 Dubois troops emerge out from this like hidden tree trunk passageway before and placing the bark back onto the tree, closing the door, essentially invisible to the naked eye, but which you now know is there.
What the fuck? So they went inside or came out of it?
They came out of it. And so but the tree isn't wide enough to hold 3 people, and so you would have to assume there's some, like, it's, so what do you do?
So it's just like a little secret hideout?
Do you want to go investigate it once they walk away?
How many people went out?
About 3 of them.
And it can hold 3 people, so no one should be in there?
Without investigating it further, like getting up close to it, once they walk away, you wouldn't be able to see anything else.
Okay. Delilah in her mind is thinking that maybe there was just a misunderstanding, and because she was the first one that they saw, maybe they assumed wrong. And that if she can just explain the situation to the Dubois themselves, everything will be cleared up. And Kira can still get help. And so I think she'll run to the little hideout and hope that some Dubois person is there.
As you rush the small hideout, you hear the guards go. You're able to hear, like, you're able to hear like people coming from a very like no hidden hiking trail path. You're able to hear like guardsmen like rushing out of the woods and basically like shout as you're kind of like hiding in the forest, like, we think that she is still in the forest. We can still find her. Everybody, guards, you and you, cover the western side. You and you in the east. And you hear these like guards like begin rushing into the forest, like wide search party trying to find you, going in the exact opposite direction. As they have cleared away from this pine tree hidey hole, essentially.
Okay. So can I make like a perception check to see if I hear anything inside the tree?
You can be perception check or investigation check with advantage. Yes.
Okay. Perception. Okay. Yikes. Perception. Oh my goodness. Perception, that's a 17.
A 17, you're able to see as you approach the... you want to see if you hear anything? You want to look at the tree? What do you want to do?
I just want... So I'm hoping I can find someone in the Dubois family who maybe knows me.
Oh.
Like someone...
Okay.
And who I can talk to kind of be like, Please stop sending your guards after me. I didn't do it on purpose.
With a 17 perception, as you approach this tree and you just kind of put your hand into the grass and kind of sense the nature around you, you can hear almost faint echoing, like its voices bouncing off the walls of a cave, and it's coming from that tree that those guards just walked out of.
Okay. Would I? Do I know anyone in the Dubois family?
Give me a oh my god, give me a quick what stat do you think would be most appropriate for you to roll right now?
I would assume history?
Go ahead, give me a history check, yeah.
Oof. 5.
Crapshoot. I mean, honestly, you have taught a lot of noble people how to dance, and you have been to a lot of archery tournaments. They've seen you, and they might have employed you, but whether or not they'd remember you, it's a crapshoot. Sorry to tell you.
Okay. Do I have any idea where... Oh, fuck. From here, where does David live? Like, nearby or far away?
Daniel lives
Sorry, Daniel.
No, you're all good. Daniel lives relatively close by, like towards the edge of the town, like next to the ancient glade.
Okay. I think it's too much of a risk to go to the little secret hideout. It's good to know that it's there. But I think she's gonna go find Daniel first. Because she knows that she knows him. And she's also worried about him. Because if maybe someone saw her, they think, maybe they think she did it on purpose. And then someone saw that she went to Daniel, maybe he got involved. And so I think she's going to try and go find Daniel. She's going to stop by his house and hope that he can help as well. Maybe clear his name, and then he can support her.
Okay, not a problem. You're able to approach Daniel's home. And as you approach Daniel's home, the curtains are drawn, but you're able to see candlelight flickering and casting shadows from the inside of the home coming out. Again, it's still pitch black night so far, clear star sky above you. And you're able to notice a figure walking around inside. Now, in this state, would you take your time? Would you just kind of walk into the front door? What would you do?
So clearly he's home. She doesn't want to surprise him. But she doesn't want to be obvious. And so maybe she'll go through like an entrance that is a little bit more of a private entrance, not like a front door.
Yes.
Or maybe one that like people who know him
like
would
a
know.
back door near the kitchen,
Yeah,
basically.
like a back door or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, so do you want to make a stealth check? Do you just walk in through the back door? What do you do?
I want to be stealthy, not necessarily for Daniel, but just because I don't want anyone to see me.
Okay,
So
understandable.
I'll just roll a stealth check.
Go ahead and roll a
anyways.
stealth check, absolutely.
That's a 18.
With an 18, knowing which boards in his house creak, you've been here so much, you are able to ever so gently open up the door, like basically an alleyway leading behind his house, separating his home from the one next to it, and you're able to come in through the door into his like small little kitchenette area that would then lead into the main living room with a stairway that would then lead up to like the upper section of the house. Make sense?
Yeah.
And as you come into the kitchen area, with an incredible stealth check, you are then able to hear Daniel speak. And give me a quick perception check to clock the environment around you as you hear these words being said.
How's an 8 doing for me?
How's an 8 doing for you? Daniel's a tidy person. His kitchen's a
Yeah.
bit of a mess. At least for right now. It seems like ingredients have been pulled out, but you're not able to really get much more than that. Make sense?
Okay, maybe he's making the spell. Or maybe he was just cooking.
And you're able to hear a voice speak that is not Daniel. And it is a feminine voice, and you're able to hear this voice say, Daniel, you are right to come to me. Truth be told, I always believed her to be dangerous, and it was just a matter of time before someone got hurt. And then you're able to hear Daniel respond with, Thank you, Vivian, and many thanks for coming to my home and protecting me. If I am to be honest, I was almost certain she was going to kill me tonight.
I think a cold sweat. I think she's already sweaty, but I think she just runs like this cold shiver down her spine. And I think Delilah, it clicks very instantly, and I think she steps into the room that Daniel is, no longer caring about being quiet.
As you step into the main living area, you're able to see a couch, chairs, a lit fire in the fireplace, and on the table in between Vivian and Daniel, you're able to see a lower table, coffee table basically, an open bottle of wine, 2 glasses almost completely full, and a charcuterie board between them. And you're able to see Daniel in his standard nightwear, but you're also able to see a woman elegantly dressed. Her name is Vivian. Give me a history check with advantage as I give a bit of a description of what Vivian looks like. Vivian is dressed in finery. Now, admittedly, it is nighttime wear as well, but you have seen this woman before, and you know that she is always dressed in fine clothing. Her hair is always curled, as blonde as it is. You're able to see she has jewelry on. Perhaps she even sleeps in it. And you're able to see a spider web tattoo going from her right eye over, across, and above her ear from a shaved side of her head.
I rolled a 9.
You rolled a 9? It's above a 5. Don't worry, the DCs are not that difficult. You've been reading this a lot. This is Vivian Dubois. This is the eldest daughter of the Dubois family, rightful heir to Traval-Du once her mother and father pass away.
Delilah rounds the corner and she sees this setup, and I'm assuming they turn to look at her.
There is you could hear a pin drop as both of their heads look over and they see you covered and caked in branches and leaves and dirt and filth and mud and sweat and blood and all of this stuff as they are sitting there so regally, and they see you walk in like they've just seen a ghost.
She sees them having left her friend, having held her friend die mere hours before, and having a glimpse of hope of her living, and coming into the home of the person she trusted most with this awful thing that she did, where she killed her friend without meaning to, and not even worrying about that being used against her, but just coming to her friend in the hopes that he could help save Kira. I think. And then hearing them talk about Delilah in a way that they see her as dangerous. When Delilah only thought of her friend's safety. And she sees them sitting here. You two sit here with wine and cheese while she's dead out there. You sit here and talk about me as a murderous monster, and you sit here heartless. Did they say anything?
Give me a quick perception check. As Daniel looks to Vivian and looks back to you.
13.
13. Make a stealth roll. Daniel stands up. And,
Delilah like steps up to him.
As you step up to him, you are able to see. So he talks, and as he's talking, he makes like a grand gesture, and he attempts to distract you as he grabs a meat fork off of the table and attempts to hide it behind his thigh. As you're walking towards him, as he says,
Delilah, this is all a grand misunderstanding. She was supposed to be injured during the warm-ups tomorrow. We had no idea that you were going to go hunting. This can all go away. This can all go away.
What do you mean? My bow broke. It was an accident. She wasn't supposed to get hurt at all.
There were certain things at play, and Vivian and I could not get involved, and so we had to have someone. We understood how friendly you were, and we never expected there to be an isolated environment where no one would be able to find her in time.
So you used me to hurt her.
he looks at you, and
She cuts him off and is like, "You're right, this was a misunderstanding." And she goes for him.
Immediately as you lunge towards him, his arm raises up with the meat fork as he attempts to stab into you. I need an initiative roll from Delilah very quickly.
Okay. 17.
Oh, you beat him by a country mile. Now, Delilah, you are currently unarmed, okay?
Okay.
So you are
No!
you are acting first, and he is lunging towards you with a meat fork, trying to stab you. All right, so
Okay.
he's not doing that yet. Not his turn, not his action, whatever. What do you do in this moment, having no weapons on you? You can check the environment around you. You can look to the table. What do you do?
So there's a fire, right?
Yes, there is.
Are there, tools by the fire?
There are fire pokers and other instruments used to like keep up the fire. Yes.
Right. Delilah, I guess, will dodge his attack and move towards the fire, and I think when she grabs the weapon, I think there's a moment of not hesitation, but I think recognition of what the choice she is making right now. And I think she thinks of Kiara's body in her arms, and the fact that Kiara died innocently because Daniel meddled in something for a very stupid reason, for fame or pride. And I think Delilah chooses to pick up the weapon because she is just so blinded. I think this feeling of anger and sadness and this desire to come in and see them acting like they had gotten away with it and that it would all be all right and that it would all be soothed over and that no one would find her and that no one would know that it was him. She wants people to know that it was him.
Okay.
And so she picks up the weapon, and she turns back to him, kind of having a change of heart.
Okay. And do you attack him?
Yeah!
Oh, give me an attack roll with advantage.
That is an attack roll?
Yep.
That's a 26.
26? With a fury that I don't think Delilah has ever felt before in her life, you're able to grab the fire poker. Can you please roll 2d8 for me?
Yes, sir. That's a d8. And that's a d8. That's 5.
That's a 5?
Mm-hmm.
Delilah, at this point in your life, Daniel only being a commoner, only having 5 hit points, with this fire poker, dodging his attack, how do you kill Daniel in his own home?
Damn. I didn't even get to say anything. I just kill him. I'm guessing I'm trying to think of fire weapons. Like, if it's better to bonk him on the head or to, like, stab him.
You can do both. Whatever seems more appropriate.
I think before she attacks him, she'll turn around and, seeing the fear and panic in his eyes, I assume, she points the weapon at him and says, "You were wrong to be scared of me. The one thing..." Fuck. What am I trying to say here? Sorry, I flubbed the line.
It's always a line.
Line.
It's hard to do on the fly.
I know, it's important to do a line.
I got you. I feel you.
So she'll look at him, and she...
I'll look at you. Yeah.
Look at him.
Yep.
He looks at me. "You shouldn't have feared me just as I am. You brought this on yourself. And you killed her as much as I did. And you should remember that." Wah!
And then you stab him?
Yeah.
If I may describe what it is as, like, yep, here's the thing. He is terrified because imagine trying to stab someone and they just move out of the way, like they're that fast that they can react that quickly, as with a clattering of the tools as you grab the fire poker and you look at him and you say that, again, fear in his eyes as he goes in for another stab, as you move in closer to him, dodging out of the way of the blade again, and you jam, and you're able to jam the fire poker up under his left arm, the exact same place the arrow struck into Kira only hours ago, and you're able to watch him. And there was some doubt with Kira whether or not the arrow hit her heart. you know for a fact that this fire poker just split Daniel's heart in two, as his life in about 6 seconds drains from his face as he slams up against the bookshelf, and books begin falling as he slides to his feet and slumps over completely dead.
Delilah is shaking with adrenaline and anger and panic. And she watches him fall, and she doesn't feel good, but she feels righteous. And oh
no, please continue, please.
And I assume Vivian screams.
Vivian is silently terrified looking at that happen, and you're able to, no insight required, she is terrified and she's finding any way to get out of this, and she goes, "Well, Delilah, wonderful job. You have stopped the one that murdered Kira. I'm so happy that we were able to find who did this. Now why?" And she's like stands up, her hands are shaking. And she goes, "Why don't I call my house guards back here and we can tell them how you saved my life? Yes?"
Vivian, he's not even cold. And you're gonna toss him aside like that?
You could not be more right. Yes, he's not even cold yet, and so it is good that I saw nothing at all. And that I'm just going to go.
You're not going anywhere.
And in that moment, you're able to notice that in Vivian's face, she is a coward above all else. She is someone who was doing this nefarious thing and is willing to toss aside her compatriot to save her own skin.
While after I made that little choice in my mind to pick up the fire poker and to kill Daniel, am I feeling any forces from beyond?
I was going to mention, after, if you had anything else to say or anything else to feel, that from the fire itself, and of course knowing that this memory is being projected to you, you're able to watch the fire lick up and down as you're able to hear and you begin to feel the heat as the flame begins to grow and overtake the chimney inhumanly, demonically, as you begin to feel this rage at this, not only at the person that you just put down, at your friend that betrayed you, but towards the cowardice that Vivian is displaying, trying to weasel her way out of this.
You didn't kill anyone, but you are no better than he is.
Vivian right now looks to the door and looks back at you and realizes that there's no chance with how fast you move that she could get out of here before you could kill her. And she goes, You're right. I'm a coward. I'm a coward, and I should face justice for what I have done. So let's just. I'm a coward. I'm a coward. It's who I am, and I deserve to face this. Yes. And she's trying to say whatever she can to buy herself a few more seconds. And you once again hear from the fire.
What is she, Dee? What is she?
You are a coward. You are spineless. You are nothing more than a small, weak chicken.
as you say the word chicken, you feel like a branding iron pierced in between your eyes. You feel your first black tattoo begin to form. An ever-watching eye of rage as two horns begin to grow out of your head. As you watch as, cutting to Vivian's perspective, watching your body shift and morph in front of her. Looking at you, we watch as Vivian's perspective, you begin to grow taller, the house begins to grow larger, the flames now leap out of the fireplace and begin consuming the world around you, around her, as she shrinks down to maybe only 7-8 inches tall, until she attempts to scream and she attempts to plead for her life. She attempts to say more as she is so fearful in this moment. And all that comes out of her, now that you're a giant towering above her, is as you look down and you see that you somehow in some way have transformed the eldest daughter of the Dubois house, inheritor of their throne, into a chicken. And the fire begins to roar around you.
Delilah takes a deep breath and she leaves the house.
As you leave the house, we're going to cut away from your perspective for just a moment. As this chicken looks up to you, and as you walk out, in some way, at least in this moment, you're able to look back and see a voodoo doll, person-sized, kick the chicken towards you and force it to walk behind you.
I hold the door open.
As the door is held open, the house now burning down, this chicken strolls out, and the house begins to crumble as you must leave your old life behind. As you're able to see in the forest, seeing this house fire, the Dubois house guards are beginning to return.
Delilah, still covered in her friend's blood, covered in ashes now, and in Daniel's blood. She hears the people coming for her, and she knows that there's nothing here for her now. And she leaves in any way she can.
As you run as fast as you can, trying to disappear back into the forest, just trying to get away from the guards, trying to lose them, this chicken seemingly like stopping and then and is like tethered to you in a way, begins running and trotting along behind you. And as you begin to run deeper and deeper into the forest begins to wither and collapse. The trees begin to dry and the ground begins to crack and rocks begin to emerge out. And it seems like this memory that you are in is beginning to fade. Its effects having taken place. And as you escape into the forest, as it becomes this barren wasteland, you're able to watch as the earth in front of you begins to crack up like you're looking at a hill, and you watch as two massive caves burrow themselves into this hill, and you watch as two grand pine trees grow out of either side of this hill and begin to dry out and spiral and crack each 6 times in a row, and both of these caves fire erupts into their mouths, and you are able to look and see the giant head of Yasa Six Spirals in this memory as you're running towards it. And with that, as you see Yasa Six Spirals' face, make sure the music is all correct. Your eyes open, your head slams back onto what feels like a stone slab. As you look down, Yasa's towering form above you is pressing her burning blade into your stomach and is cauterizing your wound to ensure that you survive.
Oh my god, hi!
As Yasa finishes the cauterization, I need a Constitution saving throw from you to see if you pass out.
Nat 20!
A nat 20. You are up. It is adrenaline. You have just come back from the dead through just pure hatred flowing through your heart, reliving the worst night of your life. And as you shoot up going, whoa! you pop up.
Whoa!
And this is going to be the last roll that we do for tonight.
Okay.
I need you to give me a perception check with advantage, okay?
Okay. Oh, it's been rolling well. Alright. I got another nat 20.
You got 2 nat 20s in a row? Is that 2 nat 20s in a row? Did you... Kate, I love you. That's fantastic. What a thing to end off on. I'm going to give you the entire description I was going to save for next session, then we're going to go from there, all right?
Okay.
Oh, and yes, you probably heard me. Yes, next session. Yes, this is not a one-off. There's obviously going to be more. It's the Misadventures series. Everybody get excited. Delilah, you look to the room around you as Yasa goes,
"You're awake. I doubted you would survive."
and Yasa's huge, hulking form begins to step away from you, seemingly without care. As you look around, I'm going to talk about the room you're in first, and then I'm going to give you a description of the outside world outside of the room, okay?
Okay.
The walls, so you're in a large chamber right now. It's a domed chamber. And the walls around you are a cracked tan color, almost like sandstone. But it can't be sandstone. There's no mortar, there's no brickwork, as if the entire structure was carved from one singular rock. You're currently lying on a stone slab as you kind of, as you're able to sit up and you feel with your hand. It's jagged and rough like stalagmites and sand, and it's in the shape of a 5-pointed star. It's in the shape of a pentagram. You look up above you as you hear, and you see cages chained and hanging from the ceiling, with withered, bony bodies of the damned reaching their arms out to you. You're able to see that they are nothing more than the most basic level of muscle and sinew covering skeletons, with their mouths open wide, leading to tongueless caverns within. You get the sense that they're trying to scream at you, but they've been doing so for so long. Like, they've been here they have been here since before you got here. They're going to be here long after. They've been screaming for so long, their voices have disappeared completely. You see 2 large oval windows in this room, and they're separated by a straight section of wall curved outward. Against this curved section of wall pressed outward, you see a throne of uncut stone, with the wall behind it being scorched black by intense flame. And across the room, opposite those windows and opposite that throne, you see, again, the rest of this large open dome chamber. And you see it's filled with racks of weaponry and armor on mounts and mannequins, and you see torture devices and the damned souls within them being stretched and pummeled and crushed. But the thing that you recognize, and I'm going to say just for a cool ending to all of this, Delilah, you see those oval windows. With a nat 20, do you want to see what's out those oval windows?
I do.
You're able to, as Yasa walks away from you, seemingly giving you no more medical care, and she's doing whatever, you're able to pick yourself up, and every step, you feel you're alive. It definitely feels better. And you begin walking forward towards these oval windows, and you have to prop yourself up on the edge of one of them to avoid falling over. And as you look out of this oval window, you do not see the arbor. And the first indicator that you don't see the arbor is that there are 6 suns in the sky. There's a vast, dry earth plain before you. The land cracking and jutting and falling almost at random. Dotting the landscape, you see these mountainous sandstone pillars, the same color as the domed chamber that you're in right now. But these are weird because they pierce up to the sky like dulled, carved daggers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a quick medicine check.
Oh. That is 9.
A 9 beats a 5 because as you look, you see these bumps and these valleys and these bumps and these valleys, and you see these curved, almost dagger-like things coming up on either side of them. And you look into the chamber that you're in, and you realize that these curved daggers, these curved stone daggers going towards the sky, they're ribs. And these bumps and these valleys are the vertebrae of the largest spine you've ever seen. And the chamber you're in right now, 2 holes on either side of a curved inward wall. You're staring out the eyes of a skull of a creature larger than comprehension. Across these hostile dry plains, you see sandstorms and dust devils raging across them, sweeping across the arid flats. And dotting the sand below you, you see these great demonic beings, some on 2 legs, some on 4. These creatures seem hostile, roaring and clawing their way across the earth. These are damned souls who are cursed to roam this environment, starving and thirsty, with no chance of finding sustenance. You see a straight line separating shadow and sunlight, and even accidentally placing your hand into the sun, your skin cracks and becomes dry bone before you get the worst sunburn of your life. Delilah, you don't need to guess where you are. You're in hell. But not in the way that you expected. You're in the 6th circle of hell. Yasa 6 Spiral's domain.
Slay.
But that will be a story for another day. Kate, did you have a good time?
Oh my god.
What did you think? Welcome to the Misadventures series.
Oh. Oh my god.
Oh, I hope that was just as intense as we planned for it to be.
Oh. That was insane.
We got through half of what I expect of what I had planned, and I'm so excited for a part 2. Oh, she's got to get up and walk around a little bit. She got to go take a break. She's going to take a nap. She's going to lay down on stream. Thank you, all of our friends that are in chat right now. We deeply appreciate you for stopping by for Secret Project. It is midnight 15 right now. We're all up late, and we enjoy you spending time. Yes, I hope this was a wonderful little secret project, and I love this. But yeah, Kate, thoughts? What do you think? Do you want to keep going with this?
Oh, I would love to continue. Absolutely. This is a really great way to like dig into characters and explore different parts of the world and histories and backstories and all that stuff.
I just love writing and I love making things, and I'm so
Yeah,
I hope I did Delilah's backstory justice.
No, you absolutely did. I definitely tried to play it up so I know exactly what was happening. I tried to be like, what would she do in this moment if she didn't know what was happening?
Yeah, and I think it's because the main problem, if there's one problem with like the games that we're currently running, like Paul and the Fist Alator, there are so many stories that like people want to, and like, because I give people background information all the fucking time because I'm like, we're never gonna be able to touch on it, and this is the best way to convey it. I just love, I love giving it like this, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's such a different feeling.
Oh, absolutely. And like we might go crazy with this because there are even less rules with this. It's more just like advanced storytelling. We might fuck around and do NPC backstories, and we might do ancient history. We might do other PCs and their backstories. We will see what goes on. But the entire time we will be playing Yakety Sax. Do not worry about that. But yes. But yes, thank you, everybody, for watching. Kate, is there anything you'd like to say to our wonderful friends?
Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little secret surprise. I pitched the idea of this thing with Delilah after the last time I played with you guys to be like, so we're leaving the arbor. What if Delilah went on this little fun adventure?
Yes, and to answer that question, Cecilia, basically what happened was because of Kate's schedule, the Escape from the Arbor episode happened and she was unavailable for it. However, think about it like this: as the Morchi crew is escaping from the Battle of the Bards and is escaping the Arbor, Delilah is doing all of this. It's happening simultaneously. And so understand the fact that in some way I'm going to incorporate Delilah back into the main story, and I think it's going to be much different than what everybody's expecting. But we have to get there first. Because in the meantime, there are many more adventures to be had, and you got to figure out what Yas is doing right now. You excited for that?
Yeah. I don't even know.
Okay. Well,
my knowledge ends there.
Then absolutely get hyped. But everybody, thank you so much for watching. We really hope you appreciate it, and I cannot wait to continue doing this. Much love. Everyone have a nice night. Peace out.
Thank you all for watching.